In the final years of his career, Gavaskar's appetite for runs was as insatiable as ever. In cricket's second ever tied test in 1986, he made 90 in the second innings to set the scene for the dramatic final hour.
Gavaskar's contribution to the second tied test in Madras in 1986 was colossal, in that coming into the last day, Australia led by 347 at stumps, and Alan Border made the decision to declare and set India 348 to win. A lot of runs to score on the fifth day of a test, and India then made the decision to go after those runs, and Gavaskar came out and scored 90 and built the platform. It's one of those situations where if Gavaskar hadn't come out and played that innings and set that platform, the tied test would never have occurred.
India failed to make the finals of the 1987 World Cup and Gavaskar retired. He has continued to provide Indian cricket with his services, going on to become a successful media commentator and taking a role in the game as a respected administrator.
Sunil Gavaskar, I think, has made perhaps the largest contributions amongst all players to Indian cricket outside the cricket field. You know, he got lots of hundreds, and he put India on the world map. He was the first to get to 10,000 and all that. But he was also very conscious about how Indian cricket was being run. So he had this constant conflict with the cricket boards.
Gavaskar left behind a legacy that was to lay the platform for the great Indian batsmen who would follow. His correctness of technique, his determination, and his consistency changed the way Indian cricket was perceived at home and abroad.
When Sunil Gavaskar came into the Indian team and started scoring runs against the West Indies, before that everybody used to say that, you know, Indians are not very good against the quicker stuff and they can't score runs as consistently as other batsmen in the world. But I think Sunil Gavaskar showed it to the world that, you know, there are Indians who can really face fast bowling very well. And after that we had quite a few. I mean, G.R. Vishwanath, Dilip Vengsarkar, Mohinder Amarnath, Shrikant, Ravi Shastri, I think everybody faced fast bowling brilliantly. It was just that somebody had to show the way, and I think it was Sunil Gavaskar who showed our batsmen how to face fast bowling.
Sunil Gavaskar, I think, was a very interesting character, very fiery character when he wanted to be, you know, and his, I think, sole mission in the game was to lead India and be the self-respecting Indian who wouldn't take a backward step, and that is what he expected from the players.
One of the things that he did very well was to score a lot of runs against the best team in the world at his time. I suppose marks out a truly great player. He scored 1,300 against West Indies, which is, you know, mind boggles when you think about 1,300 against those guys without a helmet. Of course, he didn't wear a helmet because he had the option of wearing a helmet later in his life, but he chose not to because he was comfortable the way he was. And nobody watched the ball so closely and carefully. That's why he never got hit on the head.
Sunil Gavaskar played in 125 test matches. He made 10,122 runs at an average of 51.12. He was the first man to make 10,000 test runs, the first to make 30 centuries, the first to play 100 tests, and the first Indian to take 100 catches.
Going purely by numbers, going by the fact that he propped up India's batting for virtually the entire period that he was around, it was only towards the end of his career when the Vengsarkars and the Azharuddins really came into their own as cricketers that he had support. Otherwise it was just him and Vishwanath. So given the fact that he was carrying a country's batting, and therefore, as you know, in India, carrying really a country's aspirations with him, I think he goes way beyond the numbers he's generated, which are outstanding in any case.
He showed it that as Indians you can go out there and compete with the very best, and his individual success was an inspiration for all the others to find some kind of confidence in world cricket.
Like Alan Border for Australia, Gavaskar often stood between India and defeat. Before him, consistency was not the watchword for Indian batting. His technique and his tenacity paved the way for future stars like Azharuddin, Tendulkar, Dravid and Laxman, and increased worldwide regard for Indian batsmanship. And so Sunil Gavaskar joins the ranks of ESPN's Legends of Cricket.